All right, CrossFit's dead. Nobody's ever making it to the games.
That was really sad. I obviously already know your view.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Do you think you know my view?
Based off of that.
No, that's not my view at all, but I feel like that's what everybody's reacting like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We're talking about the new CrossFit Games format. Regionals are gone. We're talking about what everybody thinks is the new CrossFit Games format.
It's kind of exciting. It's like when you try to guess what, like, the new Game of Thrones is going to be about, you know? Like, and everyone has their predictions. They're like, oh, well, remember this episode where this happened? And then they make, like, this whole storyline off of, like, one line in, like, some episode. That's what I feel like this is like, which is kind of fun.
I watched, like, the first season, and Amber kind of got, like...
What the? How can you not finish watching it after you watch the first season?
Some reason she got a little sick on it. I don't know what it was. So we stopped. But maybe we'll try to get back into it because we watched some other crazy series shows. It's like, okay, we're getting...
I haven't watched it.
You haven't watched it?
No. I just can't get into dragons and stuff, and I don't know. But I've heard
You don't like Lord of the Rings, huh?
Yeah, no, I'm not into that kind of stuff.
That's a good one. That's good.
See, and then everybody tells me, they're like, even if you don't like dragons and stuff, bro, like, it's just the storyline's good enough. And I'm like, I feel like the dragons might pull me away from the storyline a little too much. But
you see the dragons every once in a while, but that's okay.
Are they cool dragons?
Did you see that they're making a new show called Mayans?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
And Edward James Olmos was in that one, too.
Who?
Edward James Olmos, one of the old... Hispanic actors. Okay, I'm dating myself. Miami Vice. Remember the TV show Miami Vice?
No.
Yeah, see, I'm dating myself really badly.
I've heard of it before, but I never watched it.
The sergeant in that show that was never cracked a smile.
Okay.
That was like Edward James Olmos. He was like total serious. Like in the whole series, he never smiled. Like he was stoic the whole time.
And he's going to be in it?
And he's one of the main guys in it, yeah.
Oh, cool. The only guy I heard about was, like, there's this guy who, he used to be an Army Ranger, and he helped start that company, Black Rifle Coffee Club, whatever, and he's in it. Mm-hmm. He's like one of the co-stars in it or something.
Do you ever see the series Narcos?
I saw a couple episodes, but not the full thing.
Oh, that was so good.
Yeah.
But Javier Pina, one of the FBI guys.
I know who you're talking about.
His father is Edward James Olmos.
Oh, that's okay. Gotcha.
That was in the film.
Now you know what's up.
That's when I saw him in the film. I was like, oh yeah, that. Okay.
Anyway.
We're talking about CrossFit Games and the new format that supposedly is happening, and our thoughts and opinions on it. Who wants to start?
I'm wondering how many U.S. CrossFit athletes are going to be moving to various countries like Kazakhstan and...
Ooh, yeah.
I thought about it. I watched one of the CrossFit documentaries that followed this guy who was like traveling in Korea, and just, if you don't know, I'm a quarter Korean. I haven't done the Ancestry.com thing, so like it's not 100%, but I'm pretty sure my grandma, grandma's pretty dang 100% Korean. But they were saying in the documentary, like in Korea, that it's not that it's not okay, but it's just kind of frowned upon. I don't know. It's just not as cool to have muscles, especially for a female. So they don't have very many like female athletes. I was like,
totally
perfect. I should just move there. Actually, I thought about that last year when they changed the California region alone.
This is something that when regionals first started, people were talking about this back then. Like when it went from sectionals
moving to different countries?
Moving to different countries to qualify at a regional to make it to the games. Like people would always talk about going down to South America and living in South America because it would be easier to qualify in South America or Asia or Australia, New Zealand especially, to qualify there and go to the games. And people did it. People back in the day when they moved sectionals to regionals, people did that. They moved to Asia, they moved to South America, and they qualified in those regions because they couldn't qualify in like the Central East and they couldn't qualify in the Northeast or California when it was like SoCal and NorCal. And so this has happened before, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess I would be kind of surprised if I saw like a handful of people do that. But I guess
if you're going from like possible of 40 female to how many 162 countries that
Let's take a step back. Let's talk about what they're the rumors are that are actually happening.
Go ahead, regurgitate it for us.
Okay, so the rumor is that, and I'm saying the word rumor because CrossFit headquarters has not come out saying any of this is true. This is like the Morning Chalk Up, which is a company that does it's like week,
the in
morning,
people of
they do a morning daily email that gets sent out on basically like what is happening around CrossFit, and it's super rad. If you guys don't subscribe to it, you should. And it just gives you kind of a snapshot of like everything that's happening in the CrossFit community. The main guy of the Morning Chalk Up did a phone interview with Greg Glassman, and Greg Glassman basically just spilt the beans on this stuff and was like, yeah, hey, regionals is dead. We're going to shift our focus more towards the health side of things, which I don't even like saying shift our focus because when did CrossFit wasn't that? Right. You know, it's just people like to see bright and shiny things and they look at the games, but it's always been about health and wellness. Anyways. And then we're going to spend more of our time focusing on this stuff. So regionals are dead because it's a money suck, and we're going to put our money somewhere else. And it just got like all of a sudden everybody's like predicting these things that happen. But CrossFit has not come out and said anything yet. Like nobody from CrossFit has come out and been like, okay, here's exactly what is happening. Mm-hmm. Regionals are going to be gone. You know, there's been rumors that, and I guess not necessarily rumors because now the Dubai Fitness Challenge came out and said that they're the first ever sanctioned.
And they posted on CrossFit. CrossFit Games got posted there too.
Yeah, the Dubai Fitness Challenge is the first sanctioned CrossFit event. And basically there's going to be a handful of these kind of like Wadapalooza, Granite Games, Dubai Fitness Challenge, hopefully other ones throughout the year that people could go to. And the first place male, female, and teams from those events would make it to the CrossFit Games. So it'd be like, that's how you would go. You would have to qualify for like these events on like an online qualifier, go to these events, and then win these events in order to make it to the games. And then there's another rumor that says that they're going to also do the Open like normal. And then the winner of every country during the Open goes to the games.
Male, female, and team.
Male, female, and team. That's 162?
I think that's what they said. There's 162 countries. There's 162 countries that have at least one affiliate.
Yeah. So we're going to send, with those, plus everybody who qualifies at all these other events, you're talking about sending about 200 probably people to the CrossFit Games?
Yeah.
So that's why I say I think these are all rumors. You know, it's like the fish gets bigger and bigger and bigger as we talk about the story. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see that being what it's going to shake out to actually be.
Or is it going to be like one day it's like, oh, if you don't qualify, if you don't finish in the top 50, you're out?
They cut 90% of the field basically in the first day. Well, I mean, if you even look at it from that standpoint, let's say that they do say that. They're like, okay, every single male, female team from every country gets to go. You get maybe a quarter of those people that can actually afford to go to the games for a week and pay for their hotel and pay for their flights and pay for all that stuff. So I guess that would weed out a bunch of people right there. And then they could do something like that where like the first couple events weeds out even more, and eventually we still will probably, I think you'll still find the fittest, but it won't be as fun to watch. It's really what it comes down to. I don't know. That's what I think.
Yeah, and I'm also wondering, and I feel for those athletes. So we're still having the Open.
Yeah, so the Open is still in February this year.
And then it's going to be October.
But then, so like, what is it, 8 months or 8 months later? Then we're going to have the new Open, which is in October.
And then it's there to stay in October.
I'm just trying to imagine, if you're trying to be that one CrossFit athlete that's trying to qualify and go from competition to competition to competition.
So do you think that they're going to have that this year's Open will be the same, like the same rules and stuff, and then next October's Open is when all these new rules will start?
I think it's going to be starting this one, I would think.
I would think.
Because August comes before October, which is usually when the games are.
Right.
No, I don't think so.
So they just won't have a games this year?
No, they're still having. Well, they talked about the winner of the Dubai Games or Dubai competition gets invitation to the 2019 Games,
which is in August. Have they said that?
No, I don't think they have said that.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's like
But what did Glassman say specifically in his? I'm trying to recall back going to that interview that Glassman had with Justin over at Morning Chalk Up.
I would assume that maybe the games get shifted to a different date, and maybe
and I thought
the first place of the first Open also gets an invite, of the February Open, and
right.
then same thing with the October Open. I mean, it would be, they don't have, it sounds like it's too much money to do a games once again,
So you don't think they would have a games this year in August?
Not in August.
So what would the Open in October be for?
See,
to the 2019 one.
So this Open doesn't mean anything?
Unless they invite this Open winner as well. They invite the February Open winner. They wait until the second one is over. The second one, the winner of the Open, gets an invite as well.
Just one winner?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Every country.
Oh, yeah, I forget it's every country. I forget that. I'm like, oh, we're in.
From what I recall reading the article, it was, we're having the Open, we're having these, there's supposed to be 16 sanctioned events from December through, June, July. So each one of those sanctioned events, the winners from each of those sanctioned events, plus one winner from each country, are get invited to the games, which will happen in August, and then from there, the 2019 or 2020 games, the Open will happen in October 2019.
For the 2020 games.
For the 2020
so
games.
the people that went to the games in 2019 have a month
exactly.
or 2 weeks probably.
Well, from August to October.
Yeah, so let's say they have the games August 1st. And they go for a week. They have literally like 2 weeks to recover and then do the Open and then
get ready or start training. But yeah, so the whole thing was an interesting aspect is if you're that CrossFit athlete that's trying to qualify, and you go from one competition to competition to competition.
Hey, folks.
What's your nutrition periodization? What's your training going to be like? You're going to be training balls to the wall all year round. You're not going to have any downtime because you're trying to keep yourself up to trying to win all these competitions or win one.
I think that's the craziest part about it is that
I think it becomes I'm sure it comes hard. It's harder for an athlete standpoint, but I think it becomes way more strategic for a coaching aspect or a programmer's aspect.
Yeah, it sucks.
I personally think it's really exciting.
So, yeah. Okay, let's take a step back. Go for it, Britt.
Well, I don't know. I think it's exciting. This is coming straight from an athlete standpoint. And one who was a competitive athlete in the past. But I love the idea of multiple competitions. I do. I think that there's a lot that you can learn from doing multiple competitions. I think that I love the idea of traveling, and yes, I understand it's going to be a lot of money to travel, but I think that's part of the sport, right? If you were doing a travel soccer team, or in my case, if you were a traveling gymnast, it costs you money or your parents money, because my parents paid for my gymnastics, right? And that's just a sacrifice that they made, to allow me to do that. I think it's going to allow for sponsors to, step in a little bit more, which could be cool. But I just think it's exciting. I don't know. I think it makes it more like gymnastics. And then I see it going to the games is like the Olympics, not very many people get to do it, and you have to be the best of the best, but you still have these other competitions where you can still compete with the best of the best. You have, if you start off on the lower levels, maybe you just do local competitions once again and build yourself up that way and get the volume in and understand, how many competitions you need to do in a year. And then you learn from that. And then if you move on to the next point, then you finally qualify into doing these other competitions, and you get to compete with the best of the best there, which is like regionals, but even more hardcore, because now I live here in California, but maybe I can compete against Katrin, which I wouldn't be able to do in a region, totally. At a regionals. And so I think that makes it more exciting. And then if you are one of the best there, then you get to go to the Olympics of your sport.
Totally.
And I think that makes it really exciting. Even if you don't make it to the Olympics of your sport, you at least, if you have the opportunity, the money to do it, you get to travel and you get to experience things and you get to challenge yourself against the best out there.
I think that's the mindset of an athlete who is doing this for the right reasons to begin with. And I think that the athletes that weren't doing this for the right reasons and just wanted to go to regionals and just wanted to make it to the games, like that was why they were doing CrossFit, they're just going to fall off.
Yeah.
Because now it seems almost impossible to most people, right? Like if you take these rumors and you go, okay, if that's true, good luck beating all these guys at the big events, you know, good luck beating Matt and Ben and just name any games athlete at the events, right? Like you may have had a chance in your region somewhere, but now you just have these events that you have to travel to and go to. I think it's just going to shift out all the people that were doing this for the wrong reasons, you know, and it's going to make them stop. And that's awesome. Because if you were doing this every day, day in and out to make the CrossFit games, you weren't going to make it anyways. There has to be some other reason why you do this stuff every day that forces you to work out hours on hours and hours when you don't feel good and you don't want to and stuff. Like there's another drive behind it besides just wanting to go to the games. Like there's something else about it that makes you want to do that stuff, whether it's to be an inspiration to other people or you've found that, hey, it makes me feel good understanding how hard I can push myself.
Yeah.
That's why you should be doing this anyways, right? And so that your mindset right there of like, this is awesome. We get to go compete against the best and travel around the world and like see these places and still get to do CrossFit. Like that sounds awesome is exactly the mindset of the people who make the games. That is before any of these changes even happened. That was the mindset of these people. It's like, oh, I just want to push myself really hard and I love doing this and I want to be able to go to these places and do these things. And
yeah, I think it, like when I view it, and it's funny right now, I'm like not able to CrossFit as much as I was able to a couple months ago. So like, I was like, maybe if I was training really, really hard right now, it would have hurt me a little bit more. Like I would have been like, oh no, but I don't know about that. But like, it makes it like I view it way more long term than what I did with the previous format. If this is what the new format's going to be, it almost seemed like with the last format that it was just like your season would start, you'd go a full year, it would end, and that was it. And then all of a sudden, if you decide to keep going, it would start again, and you do a year.
Like because
and now
these competitions kind of spread out throughout the year.
And I feel like that can make like when I see it now, I'm like, oh man, like I wonder what I'm gonna be like 4 years down the road, you know, like maybe right now, like I said earlier, I just start with local competitions again, you know, and get back into the community, the immediate community here.
Yeah.
And then maybe once I feel ready again, then like I can start pushing for the qualifiers. Let's say that's another year down the road.
Yeah.
Now I'm looking 2 years down the road. And then what can I be at 4 years, you know?
That's awesome. Yeah. And that's one thing I hope that they do is that they do look at these competitions like the Dubai Fitness Challenge and Granite Games and stuff, and that they geographically place these things in areas where almost anybody could get to at least one of them. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like kind of what they did with regionals. Like in the state of California, it's in San Diego, but you can get down there. It's all good. You can make it happen, you know, and you could go, and it wouldn't cost you an arm and a leg to do it. And so I hope they do that because like you're saying, like, well, let's try to compete with these local ones, and hopefully there is something kind of local and it's not in Dubai.
Yeah.
You know, that like you have to spend $1 billion to go do. Or find that kind of stuff to go do. But yeah, I do think that anytime that there is change like this, it's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for you to grow as a person. I'm not going to lie.
You cried?
Hey, man, it was close. I'm not going to lie, to be honest with you. Like, right before, like, all of these changes started a couple months ago, like, me and Meg sat down, and I was like, hey, I want to go for it again.
Yeah.
Like, I want to make a push for it again. And we have almost a 2-year-old, and I have a business, and it was like a lot of us really, like, going, okay, we're going to sacrifice a lot for this. Let's do it. And I hired a coach and spent a shitload of money on it. And it was my way of investing in this and be like, I'm going to go for it. And when I said I was going to go for it, I said I was going to go for it one more time. Like, it was like, this is it. Like, I'm done after this, but I'm going to give it everything I got. And then when this kind of came out, it was like the immediate blow was like, oh God, like, well, now I got to compete against. And I had all those normal thoughts, but then took a step back and sat down and looked at it and went and did exactly what you did and went, well, what if this is actually going to be better than it was before? What if this, I don't know, like you don't know what they're going to do with this whole format. And what if this actually makes it better? What if I can actually compete against people that are better than me and I can actually become a better athlete and I can actually, push harder and it like, I started to have those thoughts again too. So I'm glad I was able to turn it around mentally a little bit and not just completely implode about it. But I'm fired up on it. I can't wait to see what they do.
Yeah. I'm sure they have a lot of ideas that they're like shifting through right now, and it can only be something really exciting and fun. Like, I don't think they're going to make it lame.
Totally.
You know?
Do you think that since they're taking away the regionals, that they're going to make the Open a little bit more different or difficult, or have the scale from RX to scale it even greater this time? Because now you don't have the regionals to weed out it's like, okay, you have the people that qualify for the regionals, and then you got to weed them out to get to the games. Mm-hmm. Now you don't have that regional to weed those people out.
But isn't that kind of like what the Dubai Challenge and the Granite Games are? Like, kind of like those are the regionals.
But if we're doing
in a way.
In a way.
Oh, but they're saying that like the first place finisher of the Open in every country.
Well, I feel like if you look back at the Open, what it's like right now in the past couple of years,
handstand walks, there's muscle ups.
Well, yeah, but like if you look at the winner of the Open has never been someone that you're like, they're always someone that places within the top 10 of the games. They've never been some like Joe Schmo, you know? So like, even if they kept it, you know, like friendly for just, you know, our average CrossFitter, someone's going to win it that deserves to win it and deserves to be at the games.
Yeah, and I think that's all. No matter what they do, we'll end up finding the fittest person on earth at the games. I think it'll happen. You know what I mean, for sure. But it'll be interesting to see. It kind of like, I think it would be kind of cool in a way to have like every country at the games. You know what I mean? Like almost an Olympic style, like being represented. Like that sounds pretty rad. Imagine the stadium. Like you're there not just for like these athletes that are there, but like you're there for your country. Like that's like, holy cow, you know?
I know for like a while when I was, you know, more competitive in weightlifting, I was like, man, like what would I rather do? Would I rather go to the CrossFit Games, or would I rather, you know, represent my country at some international competition? Mm-hmm. And I feel like when you say that, like people are like, damn, like you're freaking legit if you're representing your country, you know, like that makes you feel something a little bit more.
Think about that. If you were the one that went for America.
Yeah. Like that's pretty like, damn. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you got a whole country behind you going like, let's go. Yeah. Not just like, you know, a handful of people that want you to see you win versus everybody else in that country. So that could be pretty cool, and especially from an affiliate standpoint in a lot of these countries that are kind of up and coming in the affiliate world. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, South America's huge. It's blowing up, and they love this stuff, and Asia's blowing up right now with CrossFit. And so the ability for a whole country to not just get behind just their box, but to get behind this one person that's going from the country, man.
Dang, you're convincing me to go move to Korea and be that person. You better stop.
Shit, I'm not gonna root for you if you go to Korea.
That's so mean.
I would root, but I'd be bummed.
The one thing they haven't talked about, and I think that it's in my thoughts, since I haven't talked about it, it's going to be cut, is the age divisions. So the teenagers and the masters groups. I think those. It seems like those have been silent. They've been they haven't said anything, but they did not say anything about it.
Yeah, I've definitely heard some masters being like, so what does that mean for us? You know, like, so I don't know.
I haven't heard anything about it.
We don't know.
Mm-hmm. Don't know. All I know is that it's, regardless, like, what the problem is just that there's so much uncertainty with it, you know, and so everybody's freaking out because nobody really knows what's going on. And it's like everybody thinks they know, but they think they know, and
maybe CrossFit doesn't even know what they're going to be doing, because Grossman said something, but maybe it's just a concept that he has. Hey, this is our concept. We haven't finalized anything yet.
Yeah, totally.
Well, yeah, my thought too is like if they knew that this was like gonna happen last year, then like would they really have like? I guess it didn't take much money or time for them to make the California change, but like, do they really need to make that California change then? And so because they made that California change last year, or that West Coast change, I feel like they, as of last year at this time, they weren't necessarily planning to have this huge wipeout change, you know? And so this is something that's just like kind of coming on right now. And yeah, they're probably still figuring it out. And I mean, I'm sure that once they have it figured out, then they have to write up this whole long thing. It takes me a long time to write just 100 words.
Could you imagine what this would be, the amount of planning just go into this type of a change?
Oh, God.
This is just astronomical.
And what, like a month ago, you thought that the biggest change was that Glassman was adding the transgender people into allowing them to compete.
Oh, yeah.
You thought that was going to be the big thing.
That got I feel that was that last year when he said that? Yeah, I feel like that
was like this summer, I thought.
Yeah, that totally got
They said it at the games.
Yeah.
During the health conference. Yeah. Yeah.
Major
That's another
changes.
podcast. That's another podcast.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, but it's I just think it's exciting. I'm excited to see what
Sure.
comes out. You know what I mean? And I'm excited to see, like you said, what the opportunities are for athletes this year. There might be more opportunities for people to make the game. So before we all freak out and go, well, no.
I'm going to switch to weightlifting.
Yeah, totally. Come back over to the dark side. all the weightlifting coaches are like, yes.
I've been like, maybe I'll be a triathlete, actually.
Yeah, we got a triathlon coming up. Dang.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. And then also, I'm sure, like you mentioned when we were talking about it, I'm sure, like your coach who's got other athletes, I'm sure he was like, "Whoa!"
That was like the
chill
worst
out.
day ever for him.
He put on his Instagram, yeah, he's like, I've seen it. I know. Don't freak out. Like, I'll get back to you. And he was like hashtag, like, inbox full. You know, like, I can't even imagine the amount of athletes that they have in general just at Misfit. Like, and then him, I'm sure they were just overloaded, you know? So, yeah.
As like a programmer standpoint,
Yeah.
like right now with this unknown, how do you deal with programming? Like, are you just like, because like with, say if you have the CrossFit Games or whatever, if you're programming someone to make it to the CrossFit Games and you're programming for them to peak at regionals,
Yep.
like, do you just elongate your timeline or do you just stick with the timeline until you figure out what's going on? Or are you like, I'm just going to have them do CrossFit, you know, like,
Well,
or still work on weaknesses or.
I mean, like, I do program CrossFit all year round, right? Like,
Yeah.
so it's not like we completely strict away from that stuff. No matter what, like, all of my athletes are always in shape in some way. We're always working out hard. We're always doing CrossFit and stuff. So that's there no matter what. But there definitely is a plan that I do plan to lead them to peak at the Open for our athletes, and then so they can make it to regionals. But I did kind of adjust that and start adding in a little bit more endurance training, a little bit more lactic acid stuff these last few weeks. And I am bumping everything back just because of the unknown. But I'm not completely changing everything around. We still have the basic understanding of like, okay, we want to peak around the Open this year, but I'm going to wait to see what's coming out with all of these events that are going to happen around. And then depending on where our athletes are around the world, like we've got Renee and he's in Belize and Chelsea's up in Seattle and you're here and Albert's here and stuff. And so it just depends on where we are located and where they decide to do these competitions and when these competitions are going to be. And once that stuff starts coming out, then we'll have a geographic understanding of where you guys can actually go to compete. And then we can plan for that then. But at this point, I did kind of just go, okay, well, we're going to take out a little bit more of the, let's spend some time working on weaknesses and let's spend some time on imbalance and fix. And we kind of replace that with a little bit more aerobic work. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, let's get the engine kind of kicking again and let's start getting you breathing heavy and stuff. So I did pull a little bit of that stuff back in, but because we don't really know much yet, I didn't want to completely change everything. And so we're still on the same path as what we were before, but a little bit more breathing heavy right now. A little sooner than I would have liked to. But that's okay. We're CrossFitters. We can deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's all I got. Those are my only thoughts. Fun.
So excited.
Curious.
Oh.
Curious. Yeah. Excited, curious. But overall, I think that from the Coast Range CrossFit standpoint, we're excited to see what happens.
Yeah.
Yep. No real, I don't know. I don't have any negative thoughts about it at all.
If anything, people are talking more about CrossFit than they were before.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because what's that going to get people to do?
Pay attention.
At least come check out a whole affiliate, hopefully. That's what this whole thing's about, man. It's not about the CrossFit Games.
No.
It's not about any of that stuff. It's about, honestly, like changing people's lives and taking people off of diabetic medication and losing hundreds of pounds. And, that's for the real. Anybody who really knows anything about CrossFit knows that the CrossFit Games is this much. I'm putting a little tiny dot up for you guys who are listening, but this much of what CrossFit really is. Just a little blimp in what this impacts the world and actually does for people. So, but it's a shiny little blimp for sure.
Exactly.
So, cool.
Yep.
That's our thoughts on the new CrossFit Games format. When we hear more, we'll maybe do another one.
Sounds good.
Deuces.